Markets, haven't there, this Thursday? What's going on?
Yes, that's right. The Nikkei, first of all, that's seen the steepest drop. That closed down over 6% in this Thursday's session. The other Asian markets as well, not faring particularly well. A few things going on. One is this ongoing concern that central bank liquidity, this bond buying programs by central banks, may soon start to dry up, as well as doubts, particularly in Japan, over that attempts to revive the Japanese economy there by the Prime Minister may not work as much as had hoped. And now that's also soured sentiment here in Europe. At the open, we can see markets dropping not by quite as much, by around 1.5% across the board, as you can see there. Meanwhile, in Turkey, we've been keeping an eye on that all week. The stock market's actually fallen about 12% since those protests began. It's actually around up about 0.5% so far this Thursday. But the country's tourism industry is already suffering from the effects of those images coming out of Istanbul, as Josh Vardy now reports.
Damage limitation. Travel agents in Turkey have been trying to work around the ongoing protests in Istanbul, one of the most visited tourist cities on earth. But moving visitors away from the area near the protests in Taksim Square and into the old city doesn't appear to have plugged the leak. Hotels and other tourist spots have been reporting up to 70% cancellations across the city.
We've lost about 2,000 to 3,000 euros over this period. We've hardly been able to work due to the high rate of cancellations.
Over a decade at the head of Turkey, Prime Minister Erdogan has seen the country enter the top 20 strongest economies in the world. That's in part due to Turkey's gigantic tourist industry, which in 2012 was worth 22 billion euros, with over 36 million visitors, most of whom start their trip in Istanbul, with June marking the start of high season. Some agencies operating holidays outside the capital say that while their businesses may not have been severely affected, they have seen a stagnation in bookings as people wait to see how the protests play out. Demonstrations against the commercial development of a park in Istanbul began over 10 days ago. A heavy-handed police response sparked anti-government protests that have since spread across the country to other cities like Ankara and Bodrum.
Well, let's get some more of the day's business news now. And the tourism industry here in France has also been suffering. That's due to the bad spring weather. The sector is estimated to have lost around 300 million euros. Construction has also been hit as rain has delayed projects. Well, a study says that the bad weather has cost the economy 700 million euros.
Google has been accused of tax dodging in the UK. The head of committee investigating the company's tax affairs has issued a scathing report. It says an argument that Google's tax affairs are lawful is deeply unconvincing. The company is accused of highly contrived arrangements to avoid tax.
Stéphane Richard, the boss at France Telecom Orange, has been placed under formal investigation. That's over a financial settlement with a French tycoon when Richard ran the office of the then finance minister Christine Lagarde. Well, government holds a 27% stake and has called for a board meeting over whether Richard should continue in his job. Shares in the company down 1.4% at the open in Paris today.
Going to stay in France for you, a controversial rule change for self-employed people.
That's right. Now, the former president, Nicolas Sarkozy, set up this scheme for sole traders, self-employed sole traders. They're called auto-entrepreneurs here in France. Now, the idea was to allow them to register in a much simpler way and also pay lower taxes as well. And it was very popular. Over 900,000 people actually have signed up since it was launched in 2008. But many businesses, bigger businesses, feel that it's unfair. It presents them with unfair competition. And the government has responded with some changes. Now, those changes include lowering the upper limits you can earn to qualify for this scheme. For example, if you provide services, cutting it from 33,000 to 19,000 euros. Same for commercial traders. Now, an online campaign by a group calling themselves Les Poussins, that means chicks, they are fighting against these changes. They're hoping that they can repeat what another group called the Pigeons did earlier this year when they got the government to change their mind on tax proposals. So we'll see see if they have a similar amount of success.
I still want to know what the turkeys think about it. Now, Matthew, of course, he's a very chic young guy, and Flo's going to be here in a minute with the papers. She's very chic as well. Lots of people are very chic here in France and Paris, and that's particularly because of one department store, perhaps, Galeries Lafayette, very well known here in France. It's back in Asia as well for the first time in 15 years.
That's right. So people in the Indonesian capital of Jakarta would also get a chance now to sample Galeries Lafayette. Now, this is ahead of a planned opening in Beijing in September, which will be a big deal for the store. Well, let's listen to the views of some of the shoppers there in Jakarta.
It's here, and everything, from Europe, Paris is here, so we can buy it here, we don't have to travel.
A lot of people in Indonesia partake in upper fashion now, and I think it's really good for them to be able to access these branded items at a pretty good price in a nice area too.
Now then, Flo thinks we've gone mad because Matthew and I are both supporting these. They may look innocent enough, but a delivery of these contained an unexpected extra, didn't
That's
it?
right. A supermarket chain in Western Denmark thought that they were getting a delivery of these from Colombia. Instead, they got a delivery of one of that country's other well-known exports, cocaine. Obviously, we don't have any of that here in the studio, but it's estimated that 100 kilograms of the white powder was delivered to the supermarket chain. Well, honest staff at the branch there in Aarhus alerted police. They're now investigating the delivery. I hope you're enjoying that. I can see that one's a little bit bruised. I'm sorry about that.
It is a little bit bruised. I quite like them a little bit squidgy at the end there. It's quite nice. Thank you, Matthew. I'm going to have to pull myself together now and be serious because it's time for the press review.